Shani, Steve, what up?
Hey guys!
What up guys? Today we have a new video for you and we're going to tell you all about our story.
Yes!
So it started back when we were kids. I was walking around church and Shani was like, damn, who that? And I was like, it's just me. And she was just like, I want me some of that. And I said, all right, cool. That's how it started out.
And that's the story he usually gives people. That is not the story.
Yeah, no, it's not the story. So we grew up in church together. So we don't really know the exact date or the moment.
Or a year, for that matter.
Or a year. We actually met each other because we were probably like newborns or like 3 or something. But at 10 years old, Pathfinders is a youth group in our church. It's like co-ed Boys and Girl Scouts,
yeah.
But religious.
I think there were many times when people would be like, do you guys date? Are you guys together? And I'd kind of be like, no, of course not. Like, why would we even consider that, you know?
Yeah.
But in the back of my mind, I was thinking, you know, I may have a little thing for him, but it's not big enough for me to actually say it. And then he would like do little boy things, like ruffle my hair or like put his finger in my nose, like he would do things like that made me say, okay, I'm too old for this.
I'm just better than this. We both had a thing for each other and it was obvious, like everyone around us knew like, why aren't you talking to Chantel? But I didn't want to date her, but I liked her. So it was a weird thing and I didn't know how to articulate that at 10, 11, 12 years old, so it's kind of like, I don't like her, you know, I just went to that. It was good we didn't date at that time because we would have broken up or wouldn't be together now.
We were different people than we are now.
Yeah, 18, she went away to school in Alabama, I stayed in New York, I went to New York City, I went to an acting school in New York.
And we dated people in between this time,
yeah,
like it wasn't
she did her thing, I did my thing. You weren't dating dude though, were you? Or were you dating dude? She was dating with a guy. And I forget if she was with the guy.
Guys. No.
I forget if she was with the guy.
Okay.
But we had this conversation.
Disclaimer, okay?
I said,
disclaimer.
That conversation was nice.
I was never with somebody and talking to him. That was not something.
No, she was not talking to me. No.
No.
But we had one conversation and I said, is this like a little something going on? Because usually when we were kids, we had like contentious stuff because I was an idiot and I was sort of just like, you have a funny face, and she was just like, shut up, Steven. That was like basically our thing.
That's our banter.
That's our banter.
Anyway, nothing happened at that point.
Nothing, literally nothing.
I graduated school and I wasn't seeing anybody at the time. I started a job, I really didn't like my job and I was really unhappy. One weekend I got sick and I didn't go into work. When you're sick and you don't go into work, sometimes there's nothing to do except watch TV and Facebook, right?
Stalk.
So I go through people's feed and I see Steven's, well, I didn't go through his feed. His feed popped up on my timeline. And so I saw what his feed read and it said, realizing everything works better.
Everything is better when you trust in God.
Everything is better when you trust in God, right? Really? I have never known Steven to be a spiritual person or to even talk about God just randomly, right? Not to say, you know, that I'm better than him, but, you know, we never had a conversation like that. So when he wrote that, I said, this is true, Steve, but what's really good?
What's really good is what she said.
But I meant, what's really good with your status? Like, what do you mean by that?
Okay,
you know?
Let's pause right there. Let's take it back to my perspective. After I left school, I dated some, I was in some plays, I was an actor in New York doing my thing. Dated this one girl. She dumped me, long story short. I was heartbroken. But I recovered very quickly because I realized that everything is easier when you trust in God, right? So I was expressing this on Facebook. When she responded, now she never responds. She never responds to anyone. So when she said, this is true, but Steve, what's really good? I said, did someone hack her profile? did someone must have hacked her profile. But my second mind, because I don't know, maybe I'm an idiot, I thought, is she trying to holler at me right now? With what's really good? Because back, I'm not sure if that's still a phrase now, but back in 2009, that was still a phrase like, whoa, what's really good? Especially in New York, that's like, what's really good, yo?
What's really good, son?
What's really good, son? But when a woman says it to a guy, it's like a really forward woman saying, what's really good? Like with me and you. She's not forward like that in any kind of way. But for some reason, in my brain, I said, so I messaged her and said, what's really good with what? Because I'm not smooth in any kind of way, shape, or form. And she says, if you don't know by now, you'll never know. I said, what? She's really trying to holler at me right now.
Like, I didn't know if he was on the spiritual journey. I didn't want to be the reason why he fell. And when he responded to me in the instant message, I had time to think about it. And I said, if he is on his spiritual walk, who am I to be like, oh, you weren't like this before, you know? So I didn't really want to say that and judge him. So I thought of the first thing that came out of my head.
And the thing is, in my head, I'm like, oh snap, so she's trying to holler, she's being like New York sass. She's from the Bronx, so I'm thinking, all right, cool. So I said, okay, let's talk. But I said, let's change the subject and let's just talk. We were messaging for 5 hours.
I was like stunned, like, wow, I'm having a conversation with this one right here. Like, somehow we got on the topic of, like, back in the day, how we felt about each other. I think I just brought it up because even though I didn't think that we would get together, I thought that maybe we needed to have that conversation about what happened in the past. Just because I have a dream, and it would be like a random dream. It wouldn't be a romantic dream, but it would be like Steven was in my dream. Like, I haven't seen this dude in a long time, so why is he coming up in my dream? I was basically like I felt like you had feelings for me when we were younger, you know? And I expected him to be like, whatever, Chantel, you always think somebody likes you, you know? I expected him to say something like that, right?
Yeah. And when she said it, it was kind of like, oh crap, respond really quick. Don't make it look like you're thinking too long. Respond really quick. I said something like, the emotions fizzled, but they never really died.
Right. And I was like, what?
Yeah.
I was like, really? Like,
it's one of those things that once you press period and then you press enter, it's like, boom! Life's gonna change right now. Bam! Button is pressed. Message is sent. Let's see what happens.
So in that span of a week, we were supposed to go to like a poetry night because he was really into poetry at that time, right? And he wanted me to come. And he pulled one of those, it's like $10 cover charge thing. Like he pulled one of those.
I was a broke actor.
Ladies, he pulled one of the, $10 cover charge. And I was kind of turned off by it, but at the same time, I'm like, we didn't decide we were talking. It was just like, let's see where this goes, right? So I was like, okay, I kind of understood. I didn't want it to be awkward because it's like, I don't know, it was just an awkward thing that was happening. So I didn't go then. Basically, he said, we'll see each other at church. So I said, okay, fine. We saw each other at church. It was awkward in the beginning, but then we had like a really long conversation after church.
So outside the church, everybody's congregating. I'm talking to my friends. She's talking to one of her friends who's a mutual friend of ours. We grew up together. All our friends, we grew up together and everything. I'm talking to my friend, but I'm not really paying attention to what they're saying. And I look at Shani, and she looks back at me, and we have like a moment, then we look away, because like awkward. And then Alexis Walters, I see you.
Shout out, Alexis.
Shout out to you, Alexis. Alexis says, she looks at us, and she has this moment, and she has this thing in her eye, and I said, she's about to say something. Alexis is about to say something crazy. And Alexis says, you two would make a good couple. And after that, I walked up to her car, and then we had like another conversation. And it was really cool. And it was kind of like, man, this is really strange. This is like Shani from like growing up, Shani. And I kind of like her. What is happening? And I didn't know how to articulate or like comprehend what was going on. It was just weird, but it needed to happen.
Right.
I don't think any of this would have happened. No, I know for sure. None of this would have happened if I didn't take that Facebook status wrong.
Right.
If I took it the right way properly, I'd be like, all right, cool, whatever, Shane, just saying stuff and whatever. And we wouldn't have gotten together. So, thank you, Jesus, for playing with my stupidity. Soon after that, we were dating. We were dating for 4 years.
Then I went to California for a little bit for travel nursing.
She did 3 months in California, and that was just new and weird and different. I'd never been to California, and being in the film industry, I was kind of intrigued by California. I visited her for 6 weeks, and the whole time, for the whole year before we got engaged, there was talk of like, when are we gonna get married? I think we should be married. And I was agreeing with her. I just wanted to buy a ring. We went back to New York. I taped myself buying the ring with my sister. My sister went with me to buy the ring. I had a screening for family and friends. At the end of the short film, which is my very first short film, at the end of the film I said, oh, I have a new project I'm working on. And I showed a little bit of my web series. At the end of that I said, you know what guys, I have another project I'm working on. And it was the video of me buying the ring with my sister. And then when it was done, people were like, oh! And I got on one knee and said, hey girl, how about we
oh please
do this thing?
Whatever.
And she said,
oh yes.
And now here we are today. It was partially a going away party because we had planned to move to California together. Right. So what, 3 weeks later or so, we moved to California, February 2013.
So I knew that he was gonna ask me to marry him because my dad told me. So he did the right thing and he asked my father for my hand in marriage, right? And then I don't know why my dad thought it was okay to like put it out there, but he basically was like, so, you know, you and Steven plan to get married. And I'm like, what? And I didn't think anything of it, but because my mom was there as well, my mom was like, stop it. Like, why are you doing that to my dad? And I'm like, this is something strange going on here. And then my dad was like, so you didn't know? And I'm like, I didn't know, but now I know. Thank you. Yeah. But I didn't think it would be at that particular moment. And it was funny because that day, Steven was like, oh, I'm having a screening, right? I wasn't feeling well that day, and I was talking to my friend on the phone. I was telling her what my dad was saying, right? Shout out to Keela. Keela was like, oh, you need to dress up everywhere you go now. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I really don't want to do that because then if it doesn't happen, then I'm going to be mad for a reason.
Wait, why did you dress up everywhere you go?
Because if you propose, then I want to look right.
Oh, right. And she didn't dress up.
I did. So that night, I didn't think it was going to happen that night, so I wasn't feeling well. I was like dragging, and I just did not care that night. So I went, and it was that night. And while I was happy, because I was happy that I didn't know, because you know, you kind of want that element of surprise, I just did not look right.
A year later, we got married. We didn't do a big wedding.
And we didn't have a big wedding.
We did just a courthouse thing.
But I felt like we weren't in a position to have a big wedding.
Right.
My parents have each. Like my mom has 10 brothers and sisters and my dad has 10 brothers and sisters. There's no such thing as a small wedding. We didn't want to have a big wedding and have to pay all that expenses because it wouldn't be like out of pocket. It would be like out of credit card. And so we didn't want that big burden on us as newlyweds. So we just said we're gonna get married and then we're gonna have a wedding.
When it's easier.
When it's easier for us, we'll have something. And so we'll probably have like a renewal ceremony not too far in the future.
Yeah.
But we're on our way to debt freeness, so.
What? Did she just say debt free? We are on our way, people.
We're on our way. So we'll let you know when that happens. We had a courthouse wedding, we had our family there, we had like a dinner afterwards, so.
And that was it. But we're gonna have a big wedding and we're gonna have, we're gonna have a big wedding. She wants a big wedding, we're gonna have a big wedding. Big wants, baby gets. Just not right now. That's basically it, right? Our story. And we've been married for 2 years and 4 months.
We hope you enjoyed our story. It was a bit like long, right? But it's our story, and we hope you enjoyed it.
Thank you guys. Please like, comment, share, subscribe. Tell all your friends about Shani and Steve.
Later, guys.
Peace out, y'all. Shani and Steve, we out.
I said before you.
Shani and Steve, we out. Hey, Steve, we out.
We out.
Damn it.
Bye, guys.
Bye.